Hi guys, Scratch Cat Ball here, and today I am gonna be uh, updating my my previous two uh, StarMaker tutorials for hopefully last time now because I definitely got a better understanding of how the code works. So um so I'm just gonna walk you through exactly what you need to do to make your own planets and stuff. So so I have it open in Modrinth here. Well, the mods you need anyway. I'm actually gonna be doing it in CurseForge, but in Modrinth, this is just the mods that you need. So you need Asmodeus Core. That's ASMODEUSCORE by Blessing the Tumble. You need galacticraft Legacy by Team galacticraft. You need Mixin Booter by Clean Room. And then this one is the mod thing that you need to actually make your mods. This is StarMaker by also Blessing the Tumble. So um and then to get the mods, if you're using Modrinth, I'm gonna click these three dots up here. Then you're gonna click Open Folder, and then you're gonna we'll double click on Resource Packs, and your mod file goes in here. Um, and then I'm using CurseForge just because that's where my other mod files are, so similar to that one, or similar to Modrinth. You're gonna click on these three dots, Open Folder, and then you're gonna click on Resource Packs. And then I just deleted that one because that one was a test one. But okay. So okay. So first up, uh, this one is your mod folder, but it won't work if it's not a zip file. Uh, but you can't edit a zip file, so it's gonna have to be a regular folder. Then in whatever you want to call that, it's called. There's a folder called Assets. That's ASSETS. In the Assets folder, there's a folder called Star Sources. That is StarSources. And then in the Star Sources folder, you need at least four folders. The first one is called Biomes. That's BIOMES. Second one is called Bodies. That one is BODIES. Third one's called Lang. That is spelled LANG. And the fourth one is called Textures. That is TEXTURES. Okay. And then the only one that I haven't figured out yet is the Structures folder. And I don't think I ever will because I don't know how that even works. But um, but we'll start in the textures folder. So in the textures folder, there's a folder called GUI. It's how it's spelled. In the GUI, there's one called Celestial Bodies. That is CELESTIALBODIES. And then in the Celestial Bodies folder, there is, well, however many folders you want for your star systems. I'm gonna be working on the solar system today, and I'm gonna be fixing Mars because that one wasn't really very very well made, or actually, yeah, it was all right, but there is definitely some room for improvement for the rest of the solar system. I just did Earth as a test, um, um, but but yeah, just make sure that you have a folder for each of your star system file names. I'll be doing the solar system as an example. So, and then, um, and then as, um, and then the solar system, or well, no, for the um, for the textures, uh, so planets, dwarf planets, or whatever else orbits your star, you're gonna want to have it just in the solar system or star system folder. And then all you have to do for this one is just have the files just exist in the um, in the in the folder, but they have to have the same name as the planet file. And then there's also another folder in the star system folder called moons. If you want to have moons, um, this one has um, this one has all the moons, and it has a similar naming thing to the planets. Don't mind my bird. You probably can't hear him, but I can. Um, anyway, similar to the planets, the moons just have to exist in this folder with the same name as the moon file in the moon folder. So that's how the textures work. Now onto the bodies folder. The bodies folder has asteroids, moons, planets, and systems. Uh, Asteroids is spelled Asteroids. Moons is spelled Moons. Planets is spelled Planetes. And systems is spelled Systems. So I'll check in the systems folder first. So so again, I'll be working on the solar system here. So I'll go into the so basically what you do um so so how you make a solar system file is you right click in empty space, hover over new, and um, then make a new text document. I'm just gonna call it test, but it has to be a JSON file. So test.json. Um, I'll I'll be removing this soon, um, but if you don't see the file thing, you're gonna have to do view and then show uh uh then file name extensions. Without this, these are not visible. Gonna have to show the file name extensions. This will also let you edit uh, the the file type. So that's how I make it into a JSON. Anyway, in the solar system .json, this one's just an example. So galaxy, uh, Milky underscore way. That is um okay. Parent galaxy. You can enter any galaxy name. StarMaker will create it itself. Uh, but if it's in the Milky Way, then that means that it'll just show up in the same GUI thing as the sun. Uh, Position X, that's the X position on the galaxy map. Position Y, that's the Y position on the map. The name, um, I don't know what this does, but I just put the name of it in there. Star size, that's basically how big the star is. Star type. So this one has to be a number. I think this start. Okay. So I'm going to backtrack here. So position X, that has to be an integer that is uh, negative numbers, positive numbers, and zero. Uh, no decimals, no fractions. That's what an integer is. Same thing with pose Y. I think star size, star type, this definitely has to be an integer. But instead of any number, it has to be 0 through 6. So 0 is, I think, like I think is like a white dwarf. That's like the sun after its red giant phase. I can't think of anything else. 1 is a dwarf, similar. An example is the sun, or TRAPPIST-1, or Sirius A. Well, okay, so subdwarf is Sirius B. Uh, anyway, a subgiant. Um, I think that one is. Well, I think an example. Okay. 0 is subdwarf, 1 is dwarf, 2 is subgiant. I think an example of a subgiant would probably be Vega. Vega or Polaris, I think, would be an example of one of those. Number 3 is giant. That one is. So, number 3, giant. That one is. Example of those ones are Beetlejuice. Um, that's really the only example I could think of. 4 is supergiant. That one is like VY Canis Majoris or Stevenson 218. Number 5 is a hypergiant. Um, I think we found one of those at like the edge of the universe. It's the largest star ever, if it's even confirmed to be a star. Uh, Number 6 is black hole. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Uh, like like Gaia BH1 or Sagittarius A star. Black holes are number 6. Hypergiants are number 5. Star color. So number 3. Well, that's what I have for the sun here. But 0 is brown, like a brown dwarf. So uh, like Simp 0136, I think it is. Red dwarf would be, well, red star would be like TRAPPIST-1 or Beetlejuice. Uh, Number 2 is orange. That would be like, I think, K218, maybe? I don't know what color that one is, but I think it's orange. Number 3 is yellow. That's like the sun. Well, the sun isn't exactly yellow. It's a very, very pale yellow. But it's typically regarded as a yellow star. Number 4 is white. Um, that one is um, that one is um, I think an example of that one would be like Polaris. Number 5 is light blue. An example of that one would be Sirius A. Then number 6 is blue. An example of that one is Vega, I think. And then the habitable zone. So so this one has to be a number, obviously. Star color has to be an integer. Star type has to be an integer. But habitable zone, it can just be an integer or a decimal. No fractions. So I usually just like to do this one in AU. That's astronomical units, or 1 Earth distance from the sun. That's what an AU is defined as. So, for example, the sun would be 0.84 and 1.7. So this first number is the inner distance, and the second number is the outer distance. And then you can just look this up on Google. Um, so uh, um, Sun habitable zone, inner and outer distance in AU. So it looks like, okay. So here's where I got these numbers from apparently. 0.85 through 1.7. Uh, it looks like that's a little off, but whatever. Um, and, I'll, and, uh, and then and then I'll just put the code in the description. So, um, anyway, that's the system down. Um, Now for the planet, like I said, I would be doing Mars today. So, so this one has quite a bit of stuff here. So parent system, that's that's the I uh that's the file name from the systems folder. Orbit data phase, I think that's the uh I think that's where it is in its orbit. I think I learned something like this in math class uh, this year. Summer break for me right now, but uh, if you like count this year as summer break, then I learned something like this in math class this year. I didn't really listen to it, so I don't get how this works, but you might. Uh, I think this is radians. Uh, Size. That is the radius in suns. So I usually just look it up on Wikipedia, and then so, um, so I'll just do the average of Mars point 563 plus 531, then divide that by 2. There's our average, and then look up the number in Earth radii to solar radii. So that's Mars in solar radii. That is where I got this number from. Distance from center. That is the semi-major axis in AU. Relative time. I usually just do the orbital period in days. It sidereal specifically. Uh, Eccentricity x. I usually do just 1 point, whatever the eccentricity is listed as on Wikipedia. If it's not listed, then I just do 0. Then eccentricity y. I usually just do uh, I usually just do 1. Gravity. So this one will have to update. So 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 I actually figured out an equation for this gravity thing this time. So Uh, so it looks like I got rid of the X1 for some reason, so let's have to add that back. So, so you'll have to do it on a graphing calculator or like a more advanced calculator, but I prefer graphing calculator. Um, so, um, so I prefer using Desmos. That's desmos.com. DESMOS.com. So, so gravity, that would be, um, surface gravity. I'll copy that. Uh, that's in, uh, that's in G's, or Earth's gravity. So basically what you do is you type y equals negative 801 over 8,000 x1 plus 4,001 over 40,000. That is that's the equation for um that's the equation for the the gravity value in StarMaker, and then you click the plus thing, and then you click table, and then replace the number in the x with x1, um, and then you just type the gravity in g's. So surface gravity for Mars would be 0.3794 g. Okay. Um, and then um, if you don't have that, then I just like to look up surface gravity calculator. Um, I prefer Omni calculator. And then you just put the mass in the right here, and then you can like do the and then you can do all kinds of different like stuff here, like units. I prefer Earths just because that's easier for me to, to do. Um, and then radius, same thing, Earth radii, 0.532, and then here's the acceleration due to gravity right here. Um, and it looks like Wikipedia is actually a little off on their calculations. I'll replace that. Um, and then you just click right here, and you copy the value, and then you paste it right here. Okay? And then atmosphere pressure, that is just the atmosphere in ATM. Okay? And then apparently this can be a decimal. So, okay, wait a minute. Okay. So this is actually in percent of the Earth's atmosphere. So this would be 0.628%. So there we go. Um, um, so the way that I got that, I just like, so, so I know that this is tens, this is ones, and then so on. So this is tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Uh, that's basically all there is to like decimals to percent. Temperature. So I also found out an equation for that one. So you copy the mean temperature from Wikipedia, and then you just divide it by 30. So I just have it in Desmos. So x2 divided by 30. And you just put it here. Um, that's that that's a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. And then temperature change modifier during the day. That is um, that is the that's basically how much the temperature changes during the day. For the wind, I don't know what that does. Day length, that is um, okay. So day length, you just multiply 24,000 by um, the day length in the sidereal day length in days. Um, so there we go. Then you copy that, and then you paste it in the day length, but it has to be an integer with no commas, so get rid of the decimal and the comma. Breathable. That's basically if you can. That's basically if you can breathe on it without a suit, a spacesuit. Solar radiation. That's I usually just do that if it like has. So breathable. I usually like to do this if it has 18 through 21% oxygen. Oh, okay, 18 through about 25% oxygen in its atmosphere. Um, that's the breathable oxygen range for humans. So, and then solar radiation, I usually do true. Uh, if it um, if it has uh, an atmosphere, if it has no atmosphere, then I do true. Uh, and then breathable, that condition that I said before for breathable, I just do true if it is, false if it doesn't. So solar radiation, that condition thing, if it has an atmosphere, true. If it doesn't, false. Corrosive atmosphere. This is like if the atmosphere is like Venus's. It's really, really, um, um, it's like really like thick, like Venus's. So if it's like Venus, then it's it's true. If it's not, then it's false. In the case of Mars, it's all of these are false because it its atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide. It's like over 90%. Uh, it has an atmosphere, so that's false. Corrosive atmosphere. It's not like Venus's atmosphere. It has a very thin atmosphere. That's also false. Sun brightness. Um, I I so I usually just look this up on Google. The planet has a semi-major axis of, and then you copy the AU thing in Wikipedia, and its star has a luminosity of one sun. Then how bright would the planet be, assuming Earth is, I think, what's the point .5? Yeah, point .5. Cool. And then you just type that in to Google. Um, um, Earth's brightness is point .5. I'll try that. There we go. 0.2154. Let's put the 4 there. Star brightness, I don't know what that does, so I won't touch it. Sky, that's the sky color on the planet. 255, well, I mean, you can put any number you want here as long as they're integers. So, so the top number is red, the middle number is green, and the middle number is blue. So, wait, so the top number is red, the middle number is green, and the bottom number is blue. I misspoke there. Uh, you need a sky color, you need a fog color, and you need a cloud color, or else the game will crash. So, it's the same thing for fog as it is for sky, and then it's also the same for cloud. But but for the clouds, you also have to put a fourth number that is the Y position of the clouds. That's basically how high up the clouds are on your planet. This has to be an integer. World data, tier. Um, that is um, that is the tier of rocket that you need to like get to the planet. So so I like to do 1 if it's in the inner solar system or asteroid belt. 2 if it's um if it's like um 2 if it's in the outer solar system. Um and then 3 if it's not in the solar system. So Gen Cave, that's if caves generate on the planet. Gen Ravine, that's if ravines generate. Crate prob, that is that that's if that's if that's the generation frequency of craters. I think it has to be an integer last time I checked. Stone block, that is that is the uh, that's the stone, or yeah, it's the stone for, it's basically stone in the overworld, netherrack in the nether, and endstone in the end. Map size, I don't know what that does, so I'll just leave it be. Water block, that is uh, so that's basically, if you want liquid on your planet, then make it something like water or lava. But but if it's but if you don't, then just make it the same as your stone block. You can't do air because for whatever reason it generates this lava, uh, which is really weird. Water Y, that is that's the that's the sea level of your planet. Uh, Something around, I think, uh like 70, I think, is Earth like. Um, could be 70, could be 80. Um, I don't know the exact thing, but um, that's the sea level. Lander type, I don't know what that does, so I'll leave it alone. Meteor frequency, um, I think that's how often the um, I think that's how often the planet gets hit with asteroids. Um, and then I think this is a decimal value considering that it has a period in there. Fall damage modifier. Well, I, I I'd assume that it's between 0 and 1, but if it's not, then it's most likely between 0 and 100. So, fall damage modifier. Um, I usually just do the I usually just do the gravity of the planet here. So okay, and then throw meteors. That's if it's an asteroid belt. Biomes, I'll go through these in a minute, but if you want multiple, then do the file name of one, and then put a comma, and then put the file name of another one. The file names have to be in quotation marks, by the way. And then sun size. Um, I usually just do um, radius, radius, radius of one sun, and how large would the star be from the planet, assuming the sun from Earth is 1. So, the planet has a semi-major axis of whatever it is in AU. The star has a radius of whatever it is in suns. How large would the star be from the planet, assuming the sun from Earth is 1? So, 0.656 in the case of Mars. So, precipitation, that's if you want rain, snow, stuff like that. Unreachable, that's if you don't want players visiting your planet. So, like, if you haven't, like, coded the generation yet, or it's a gas giant. So, yeah. And then tidally locked, that is, that's if it stops the day and night cycle. So, I can just do Ctrl S to save, but you can also do File and then click Save. Um, and then I'll also walk you through, like, making moons. Even though we're not doing that today. Um, I actually struggled with making moons for a long time. Like, I couldn't get them to show up, but now I know how to get them to show up. Um, it's actually exactly the same as the planet, but instead of the star system, you put parent underscore planet and then the file name of your planet. Well, of the planet that you want it to orbit. Okay? Um, and then I don't know how to do asteroids, so I'll just skip that. Um, and then for the biomes, I'll do that next. Um, okay. So I'll just do the dirt one as an example. Um, so basically, all you need to know, well, okay, yeah, well, actually, you can actually, like, find the code either in the description, because, like, I'm gonna put it there, or on, the VTold Dev channel on Discord. Um, I'll actually check if it's, like, if the noise is on here. It doesn't look like it is, so. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it is. Um, okay. Um, but anyway, about all I know what this does, uh, is, the watercolor, that's the color of the water, in red left, green middle, and blue right. Foliage color, it's the RGB value, of the of the of the like plants, like so like the grass and the ferns, like not the grass blocks; those are different. It's the same order as the watercolor, the grass color that is the grass blocks. I usually just do the same color as the foliage color, but it's the same but it's the same general RGB thing as the other two. Surface block. Um, so basically, like if it has, um, so that's basically if it has um, if it has uh, so basically that's the block at the surface. So like it's grass blocks in the overworld and netherrack in the nether, and uh, and stone in the end. So um, so I usually just like to do a vanilla block. That's that's like a non-modded block. So I just go to minecraft.wiki and then look up block IDs. And okay, so data values. And then for 1.12.2, that is pre-flattening data values. And block IDs, you just click that and then click on show. And then it shows all the blocks in the game up to 1.12.2. Okay. Um, and then you can click the three dots up here, click find and edit, then find. So like say for example, I wanted to find snow. I would look up snow, and then just um, and then just click the down arrow until I see the block name, and then you copy that, and then you paste it in a surface block. The subsurface block that's a subsurface block. That's so for example that is dirt in the overworld. Again, netherrack in the nether and stone at the end. So ore block. Um, that's the ore that you want to generate on your planet. For Mars, I like to do well. So basically, if it's rich in iron, then I do iron. It's rich in carbon, and it has a Venus-like atmosphere. Then I do uh, then I do diamonds. If it doesn't have a Venus-like atmosphere, but it's rich in carbon, then I like to do coal. Um, uh, and then I don't know what the rest of the ores are made of, so I don't really do those. Replaced block, that's the block that your ore replaces. Okay. Then block count, that's how many ores you want in a vein. That has to be an integer. Min y, that's the lowest that it'll generate. Again, it has to be an integer. Max y, that's how high it can generate. It has to be an integer again. Amount per chunk, that's the average amount of ores per chunk. It has to be an integer once again. Um, and then finally, in the lang folder, you want a file called en_us.lang because that's the one that is because that's the one that is um like because that's the default for Minecraft. You can do other ones if you want, but it has to be en_us.lang if you want the default. So planet dot. So for planets, you So yeah. So I'll just walk you through all of these. So this one is the TRAPPIST 1 system. I want to do solar system, all lowercase, no spaces, no underscores, dot TRAPPIST1, that is your file name, equals, and then, and, and then that's the name of your solar system that you want to, um, that you want to, that like show up in game. Planet dot planet file name equals the name you want to show up in game. For moons, it's moon dot file name equals the name in game. And then I think that's actually it. Uh, I haven't made any galaxies, as you can probably tell. But I'd imagine that the galaxies would be galaxy dot whatever it is in the system file name equals what you want it to be called in game. So, um, and then, um, and then once you're done with all that, you want to, you want to click the assets folder, then right click it, and then compress to zip file, and then you want to make it whatever you want to call it. But make sure you put underscore celestial pack. The underscore celestial pack part is how the mod recognizes that you made a mod. So celestial pack, spelled CELESTIALPACK dot zip. And you cut that because you don't want it in here. Um, and then you paste it in the resource packs folder. And then you just hit play. Alright, also, um, before I like do this, um, there are a a couple restrictions. Well, one that I know of anyway. That that um that the thing has. So basically, if you do like a planet around an already existing star or a moon around an already existing planet, once you go to that uh, moon or planet, your game will crash. I found that out the hard way on the last tutorial. So if you want to do like an already existing like planet in the game, then you have to do like okay. So like even if it's added by like say the exoplanets mod, this is not in there. That one sucks. But basically what you do is you just put a 2 at the end of it, or whatever you want to like call it. Um, um, you it has to have a different file name, and then it has to have a different like regular name for the system and the planet. Um, so for some reason you can't do like Pluto around the sun like I tried to do last time. Um, okay, that was an error. I think I know exactly what went wrong. That happens sometimes. It actually happens quite a bit, but okay. So I think that the I think that um, so I think that the atmosphere pressure actually does have to be an integer. So I'll try that again. I actually wasn't sure for the last one there. So I'll compress it to a zip file again. Test underscore celestial pack. You can call it whatever you want as long as you put celestial pack at the end. Um, so I'll try it again. Um, that should be working now. So I think if it has an atmosphere, but it's less than 1% of Earth's atmosphere, just put 1. If it doesn't, then just put 0. This this should be working now. Hopefully it is. It usually takes a while to load, especially having lots of mods on here like I do. Usually if there's something wrong with your code, it'll crash during phase 2, uh, number 2 of 7. So that's what usually happens if there's a problem with your code. If it doesn't crash then, but there's still a problem with your code, then it'll crash uh, if you land on the planet. Yep, okay, so it's working now. So I think it does have to be an integer for the atmosphere pressure. So Yeah. So now we should be ready to test. So first Mars 2. Gravity 37%. Looks good. Temperature -60 Celsius. Perfect. Atmosphere pressure 1%. Um yeah, looks pretty good. Um um Subway engine. Um Actually, you know what? That one. Subway engine. The modification table. Go. Then we put our put the launch pads. There we go. And then we put the rocket down. Press space on Caravan creative mode. And then I actually haven't tested the Earth out yet, so I'm gonna do that if you don't mind. Mars. Launch. Go. Perfect. Okay. The jumping looks about right for what you'd expect from Mars. Perfect. And then the atmosphere also looks about right. Um, and then, if you don't mind, I'm gonna test out the Earth as well. Earth launch. Cool. 48 Celsius. That's a bit too hot there. Um, it does look like it's mostly ocean here. It looks like I made the sea level a bit too high, but whatever. Um, I'll just and then I can't even jump here, man. What the heck? I think I might have did something wrong there, but whatever. I'm, I'm okay. Um, okay. This is really weird, but I don't care. Whatever. At least you guys know how to do it now. Actually, so I don't care. So I'm just gonna go back to the overworld and stop the video. You see, I'm in creative mode. I don't care. There we go. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Bye, guys.